Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me tonight. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint a very easy sunset using palette knife with acrylic paints. So let's get started. All right, this is my example painting. I've got my husband Mark here with me tonight.
Hey there, everybody.
He's going to be manning the chat for us, so if you've got questions during the live show, you can post those in all caps, and hopefully he'll be able to have some time to get those to me.
We'll see.
We'll see if he feels like it.
Yeah, I might just keep them to myself.
Okay. Do you have to guess what the questions are? Okay. All right. Well, I used my Strathmore mixed media pad to do the example on paper here, and I'm going to do the finished painting on a gesso board. I would suggest using a solid support. The canvases can be a little bit wobbly with palette knife, so if you're going to use a canvas, you can still do that. You could just need to put like a book or some magazines up underneath the open space inside and the back of the canvas so that it has some support for the palette knife. So should be a pretty quick project. Didn't take very long when I did the example painting, maybe about an hour or so. So I think it'll be pretty good beginner project. I really don't think that it's too hard. Really, the only drawing is a straight line, so I think we can figure that out, hopefully. This was the photograph that I found off of pixabay.com. So if you want to look that up, I think it was just ocean sunset is what I looked for. And I'm going to kind of just visually split the canvas into thirds. So I'm going to measure right at about a third of the way up and just draw a line across with a watercolor pencil to give me a horizon line. And I wanted the sky to be the focal point on this one, so I left the horizon line a little bit low. In the photograph, it's kind of split almost halfway, but I really wanted this guy to be a little bit bigger in this one, so that's what I did. I'm just going to use a large flat brush to do the background. We'll paint that part in, and then we'll do the palette knife on top. So let's do the, let's see, how do I want to do this? Let's do the ocean first. I'm going to grab the ultramarine blue and a little bit of burnt sienna. Burnt sienna just kind of will neutralize your color a little bit. Ultramarine blue is a good far ocean color for horizon line, and your horizon line oftentimes will be a little bit muted too, so the burnt sienna just tones it down just slightly. I'm going to use the edge of my brush, just kind of carefully go along that line. And if, here, don't want that in there. If you are nervous about doing a straight line, just use a little bit of tape on there and pull it off while the paint's still wet so that it doesn't dry. You'll be good to go. I'm going to add a little bit of water.
Okay, so we don't want a hairy ocean.
No, yeah.
Okay.
Could add texture. I mean, we're going for texture tonight, so I mean, I guess I could have left it in there. It might have been like, you know,
true,
a little bit of DNA added in there.
Well, that big brush is making your camera go out of focus. So
is it? Uh-oh.
Careful of that handle.
Okay, I'll keep it angled away from the thing there. Okay, I'm going to grab some of the phthalo blue now and a little bit of the burnt sienna, and we'll just quickly put that in at the bottom. And I'm doing horizontal strokes intentionally so that if any streaks are happening, they will look like they belong there, because the ocean, especially the distant horizon line, is always straight, and the waves are generally straight unless your focal point is like in the waves themselves. Then you'll, you know, like if you're down underneath the waves, then you're going to see, you know, curving on your horizon line, but that's the only time that you would see it. If you're looking at it from above at all, you're going to see a straight line on your horizon line on the ocean. And your sea waves will be pretty much straight, or at least horizontal. There'll be a little bit of a wave to some of them, but the ones in the foreground might be, can be wavy, but the ones back here will definitely be almost just straight lines. All right, that'll be good. I'm doing a nice dark color underneath so that when we put our other colors on top, it's got some good contrast. All right, let's use that phthalo blue up in the sky. And I'll grab a little bit of white.
So the viewers have already noticed something different tonight.
What? Oh, the palette. Yeah, I'm using a flat palette pad this time. So instead of the normal palette that I use, the foam plate. I find that the foam plates, the last couple times that I've done the palette knife on them, they make that really horrible screeching noise like chalkboard. So
Okay, so the plates will be back.
The plates will be back.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I just got these to...
Because, as somebody pointed out, this is a fine art channel using styrofoam plates and pickle jars. Well, we use a high-quality stuff here.
We are serious about our art here, yes. Hey. I do feel a little bit guilty about using the foam plates, I have to say. Being environmentally conscious, they're really not like a... But art supplies in general are not really environmentally beneficial. So I do save them. I don't throw them out. So we've got a whole stack of foam plates that maybe eventually will go on the ceiling. I was thinking that they would make good sound insulating. Be kind of an interesting, just nail them to the ceiling in here eventually. I think I have enough to cover all 4 walls at this point. Maybe not. I don't know.
We gotta at least use that sticky tack stuff and try it out. Try your theory.
Yeah,
I think they're too reflective though.
Oh, you
I
think
don't
so?
think they absorb
It'll
enough.
just bounce it back.
Yeah.
All right. I used a little bit of teal right here just to kind of blend it in. As I go down, I'm going to add a little bit of yellow to it now. It'll turn green, which is fine. Will be our undercolor for the sky in this area. I'm going to add a little bit of white just to soften that up. Just quickly blend back and forth while the paint's still wet. Work my way down to this horizon line. And it's pretty well dry at this point, so I'm going to use my ruler and just set that right on top of my horizon there. Hopefully it won't stick. I'm going to clean out my brush because I want to use some pink down here. So I'm going to grab the quinacridone magenta, add a little bit of the ultramarine blue to make like a soft purple. Grab a little bit of white. One thing that I did notice about this palette is that I sort of tended to run out of room. I'm used to having a little bit more room to work with, so that was a little bit tricky. I did the example painting in my Patreon Facebook group. I have a group on Facebook for the folks who are at the $10 level, and we do challenges, and I do a lot of the behind the scenes videos with them when I'm getting ready for my Tuesday shows. So they got to see this.
We got a question.
Out. Go ahead.
One groom wants to know, why does his canvas or their canvas show through even after they've painted it?
It probably you're not using enough water in your paint. So you may need to add just a little bit extra water in your paint, because when, and that's pretty common. A lot of times what I'll do to combat that is to spray my canvas slightly to make it damp. I'm going to make it like a bright yellow here to do this transition area. And I'm not really worried about this blend looking good because we're going to put lots of other colors on top. So we're just kind of trying to get our basic colors in there. But what was I saying? Sorry, you asked that at a weird time.
I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, I was saying something about that, but and the other thing that you can do is once you get your colors on there, you can go back in with a light wash. It lifted a little bit, but that's all right. A light wash of color, and it'll seep into the cracks of your canvas and fill in the holes. So use whatever color was your background color, you know, so if you did red and you've got little white spots, just wash a little bit of red over the top. Just add a little water to your paint and wash it over the top, and it'll get down, seep down into those cracks and cover all that up. All right. Oh. It's still a little bit damp, but I think it'll be all right. Mark was. Do you want to blow dry? Let's let you blow dry. I know you like.
Oh, can I? Can I?
You're waiting.
Oh.
You're over there waiting, longingly looking at.
Oh, wait a minute! The blow dryer is not plugged in.
Oh no, we're not prepared tonight. Sorry, guys. All right, I'm gonna grab that. And let me see. We've got a new stick man for tonight. We'll give him some ocean sunset behind him here. We'll have like a
Amish stick man.
Yeah, this is Amish stick man. He's got a beard. And I guess we can Mark did him in watercolor, so he was branching out. Let's just do some water actually. Let's just do kind of some ocean right here. We'll just do like a shoreline. A reverse shoreline here. We pull him out every show and do a little bit of something with him, depending on whatever our theme is for the night. And this is a really poor ocean, but we're going to give him some waves and call that good. All right.
Ooh, that's wet. The palette is.
The panel.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, folks, the show's been canceled due to unforeseen circumstances.
Get out. That's nothing. Wimp. Wait till the show's over. I'll show you some paint in hands, that's for sure. These are messy, messy canvases, so be sure to protect your
paint fight.
Paint fight. Yeah. Oh gosh. Okay, I'm going to pull out the knife here. So we'll start with I've got a large, I don't even know what this one's called. It's just number 10 painting knife here. I've got links down in the description to all of the knives. Actually, it's a different brand, but it's the same shape down in the description for this one and this one. So these are the two that I'll be using tonight. And I also put a link to the larger brush. These are only $1 right now on the Brush Guys site, so it's a good deal. So I included that one too. I don't know if we're going to use it or not, but we thought might as well. Okay, so let's do our far waves. We'll grab the ultramarine blue, grab a little bit of white, and I'm just going to kind of do it over the top of these other colors so they'll all kind of blend together. Might grab a little. Ooh, Super Chat.
Super Chat from TT.
Thank you, TT.
I think they're first time watching.
Oh, awesome.
And thank you so much for your generous donation tonight.
That's fantastic.
I think it was to help pay for my recovery.
You think so?
I think that's what it was.
They felt sorry for you?
Yeah.
They're like, Okay, so I'm going to start up here at the very far ocean, and I'm going to just touch. I've kind of slapped down, I've kind of squished down the paint to flatten it out, and then I grab a little bead off of it so that it's got this rolled, is it focusing? Focus on that. There we go. It's got a little rolled edge right there. So you flatten out your paint, smush it flat like that, and then just scrape through to get a little bit of paint just right on that tip edge. And that I'm going to set it just at a slight angle down towards the canvas and just sort of touch it down. and it's going to create some little small waves. And I can drag it a little bit if I want to kind of just make sure you're keeping these horizontal. That's the main thing. They can be a little bit wiggly, but for the most part, we want to keep them straight. So just keep an eye on your top and bottom edge and make sure that, or keep it level with your horizon line. If you got your horizon line level, then it should be pretty easy to keep these level. Okay. As we get down closer to the foreground here, closer to us at the bottom of the canvas, we'll get larger waves. So we can kind of press down a little bit harder. But that's pretty much all I'm going to do with that color. And I'm going to start in with some of the phthalo blue, and I'm just going to mix that in. Make a very pretty kind of medium blue. The phthalo blue green shade is on the green side of the blues, and excuse me, ultramarine blue is on the purple side of the blues. But when you mix them together, it kind of makes just a royal blue, just like a nice medium blue. So that's a nice color to use for this right here. And I'm going to kind of stay away from this middle part mostly. I'll put a little bit of these colors in here, but this area in here is going to be mostly our sunset colors. So that'll be later. We'll do the sunset colors all at the same time when I do this guy. So just going to do this blue for now. And as I get farther down, I'm going to just sort of flatten it out a little bit more with my knife and let a little bit more of it drag on the surface. I can even kind of just drag it a little bit side to side as I get right down to the bottom here. Just let it kind of be completely flat against the canvas. There. So the idea behind the palette knife paintings like this is just building up layers and really not, you're gonna have to let go a little bit. These paintings are very organic. They kind of take on a life of their own. They're a little bit hard to predict sometimes how the paint is going to lay down. So you just have to kind of go with the flow, let your, as Bob Ross would say, happy accidents happen, and go with it. Let them kind of create some interesting things happening. Don't have too much of a preconceived notion of how it's supposed to look, and you'll have a lot better time of it. It'll be a lot more frustrating for you if you kind of go in with these preconceived notions of trying to get it to look exactly a certain way. So, I mean, we can do our best, but this painting is not going to look like the example painting. It's just not. It's so, I mean, it'll be the same colors and, same techniques, but it's, it's not.
I mean, this is a
now you tell me,
or something here.
Now I tell you, right?
Are you sure you painted that one?
I did.
Oh, the reason why you said that is because the secret is I painted it. It's the reverse big eyes.
Reverse big eyes. I love that. That's awesome.
Help me, everybody. Please help me.
You have very feminine hands.
I didn't want everybody to know what you do to me.
Tell anybody that, but
make me paint my fingernails.
I know. Oh, goodness. We crack ourselves up. Okay, so now I'm just using teal here. I've kind of mixed it with the other colors a little bit, but just using it sort of above the other blues. So your highlights will kind of hit on the top, and you'll want some sort of shadow areas sort of underneath. So if we put these lighter colors at the top of these other blues, as we add colors, it'll automatically make our shadows happen, if that makes sense. So we're just going to kind of set these intentionally kind of up above these blues, these other darker blues that we first put on. Each next layer will be a little bit lighter. If that makes sense. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and just rub a little bit of this in here. Just, ooh, it scraped off the thing there. Okay, all right. That's good. And let's use a little bit of this blue. I'm going to grab some more of that phthalo blue. A little bit of that teal. And we'll just scrape a little bit of this up in the sky here. Just to give the sky some texture up in this dark blue area up here. Didn't intend for it to be that dark, but what I can do is go back in here with this phthalo blue. Just mix kind of a lighter color and sort of go over that. And it'll tone it down. I say that to mix it a little bit better. There we go. Grab a little bit more of that white. Keep it fairly dark though. I'm going to mix it a little bit better so I have a little bit better control on that color. This is kind of like our credit card scrape in a way up here at the top. And you could probably do this painting with the credit card instead of palette knives if you don't have them. So I'm mixing my color and then I'm just going to scrape up all of that color on here because I want a nice lot of that blue. And I'm going to turn this because it's kind of hard to do in this direction. I might have to zoom out just slightly, but go a little bit darker. I'm already getting paint all over everything. Mark's not even paying attention. He's over there busy chatting.
I'm answering questions for you.
Are you? Thank you.
Yeah. I'm selling people stuff.
Are you?
Yeah,
nice.
No, not really.
We do have news about well, I don't know when it's going to happen, so maybe I shouldn't say it too soon, but we should have a t-shirt shop set up pretty soon here. Been talking to the people at Teespring, so that should happen hopefully in the next couple weeks, maybe sometime this next month. We'll have some t-shirts. We're definitely going to have one that says "Paint It Like You Stole It." We'll have a Stickman one for sure, and some other good ones, maybe with some of the paintings on there.
With
so if you want to
actual art, huh?
Those who are, yeah, well, if you want to see a particular painting on a shirt, leave a comment. We'll be sure to check those out and try to get any of those. So if you've got a, want to see the poppy or rose or this one even on a shirt or something like that, let me know. Okay, so that's good. Just has some kind of little bit of something going on there. Not too thick, but it'll give us sort of some interest up there in the sky. Let's mix some green. So I'm going to grab the phthalo blue again and some of the yellow. And really going to have quite a bit of yellow for this.
Okay, somebody's asked an art question.
Yes.
Jill asked, didn't you say that you're going to keep the middle of the ocean open for sunset colors?
I did, but I decided to put just a little bit of the lightest color in there. So
okay.
I just put a little bit of that teal color right in there. But most of the other colors are sort of off.
See, at least one person's paying attention to what you're saying.
Exactly. Thank you, Jill. Makes me feel good. She gets a star. If we had stars to give out. All right, I'm going to switch to a smaller palette knife now. That'll give me a little bit more control. Get most of that color off of there. I've got some green mixed up. And if you have your paint palettes really messy like this, you could use a razor to scrape it off, or you can soak it in some alcohol, rubbing alcohol, and I have to say that for Mark's benefit, otherwise he's not listening. He just looked at me like, what?
I heard my name. like a dog when you
Yeah,
say,
he's like, what?
when you say we can go for a ride. What?
I said alcohol, so I was like,
Alcohol.
I knew you were
Oh.
going to cue into that. But
No,
anyhow,
no,
the
just-
alcohol, rubbing alcohol will dissolve the paint off of the palette knives. So, all right, so I just mixed in a little bit extra yellow and some white into this one. So I've got two colors of green, kind of a little bit darker, a little bit lighter, and I'm just going to sort of tap through both of those. So I have a little bit of both on my brush, and I'm going to very lightly, just going to set that off. And I really want to kind of create a wave right here, so I'm going to leave like a little bit of dark area right there. And on this one, I'm going to have a dark wave right here, so I'll put that back in with some dark color. I really didn't do a good job of leaving that. And once that color is mostly gone, I'm just going to kind of very lightly rub it. It'll just kind of catch on the previous layers slightly. You don't want to pull off the other layers though, so if they're drying, that can happen. So if you find that your under layers are lifting, just set the hairdryer on it, let it dry completely, and then keep on going. I'm just kind of tapping to lift on some color. Really, this color is going to be kind of brightest right around the sunset area. Okay. Clean that off. Well, actually, didn't need to clean that off yet. I'm going to use it in the sky too. So we use a little bit of it up here in our green areas. Just kind of scrape it side to side. The clouds kind of do this diagonal thing in the photographs. You see, they kind of, the sun's a little bit offset. It's not quite right at the horizon line. And then these clouds kind of do this horizon or horizontal thing. Even these ones kind of go this way, and then these ones go in this direction. So we're going to kind of do sort of, I don't know, sort of cross hatching over here, kind of messy right in this area, and then these are going to go in this direction. So when I'm putting my palette knife on, I'm always going to kind of keep in mind where my sun is going to be. In fact, I can go ahead and put some yellow down right now real quick, and I'll put it right here. It kind of does this thing like that. It's not like a perfect sun, so the clouds are kind of breaking through. It's not a round circle. So we'll do like that. That'll give us kind of a better idea of where to put some of these clouds. So let's grab some of that green now. And we'll stick some of these. And I'm just tapping and then slightly scraping the paint off. I'm not kind of rolling it like I did with this, because this creates lines if you leave it at a diagonal, but if you kind of lay it flat, you get kind of more surface area touching it. You get a more interesting things happening. So let's put a little bit up here, and I can kind of do it in a circular motion maybe to get some random things happening. I feel like there's a shine on there. Let me pop this up at an angle a little bit. There we go.
Okay, we got several new people joining us, and we got
Awesome.
some new painters also in here.
Okay.
And so somebody's got a question for cleaning paintbrushes and stuff like that.
All right.
I know we use like Dawn dishwashing liquid.
Mm-hmm.
What are some other things that they could use?
I also use a product called Pink Soap. Looks like that. And I have a link, the Brush Guys. It's in my list on the Brush Guys. They sell it. So I'm going to grab some water here and spray this palette just to keep the paints moist. And I need a little bit more phthalo blue. I'm out of the phthalo blue, and I'm out of my ultramarine, and I'm probably going to need some more yellow too, so I'm going to go ahead and put those out.
Could you use something like rubbing alcohol to clean your brushes also? Or is it
No,
just,
you wouldn't. That would be pretty harsh.
too tough
I
on
wouldn't, yeah, I wouldn't do that. I mean, you could soak it as a like emergency rescue, you know, but I wouldn't do that on a regular basis. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to make kind of a teal color here. I want to add a little bit more of this phthalo blue, and it'll brighten up that green. The more yellow you add to it, the more bright the green, the more appley green it'll be, and then the more of this phthalo blue green shade we add, it'll get a little bit more like a dark turquoise color. So I'm going to do turquoise here. Do some of that color. Ooh, that's kind of dark. Let's add a little bit of white to that. And a little bit more white. This is wanting to lift. It's driving me crazy. I need to tape it down or something. I need a second hand to
something needs to be taped down?
hold it.
I'll be right there.
Not me. Okay, I'm going to mix a light yellowy green here. What you doing?
Where's your blue tape?
It was in that thing there.
I was going to tape it down for you.
I don't think you can without touching the...
Without touching what?
Without cutting off part of my...
Okay.
It's fine. Thank you, honey. I'll survive. He's trying to be my hero here. I appreciate you.
I'll try.
All right, so that's working. Getting that lighter color in there. Yeah, that's happening. Oh, there's 3 different greens there. I'll bring him a little bit farther in toward the middle. A little bit on this side too.
I'd like to say thanks to we got 275 watching us right now, live from all over the world. So we're first-time viewers. So welcome to the channel.
Yes, welcome.
If it's your first time here, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Angela's channel. You can also click the bell, right, for notifications for future shows.
Yep.
And down in the description, we've got all the materials that she's using, links to purchase some of them, and also links to all our social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Brush Guys. What else? Oh, yeah, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Adding some of this bright green up down in here. Scooter's snoring. I can hear him snoring. Our dog is in here. He's got to be wherever Mom's at. And Cashmere's not in here this time unless she meowed all the way through our show last week. I think it was Tuesday night show. Yeah. We learned our lesson there. No cats in the studio during filming. Okay. If you get an area where you add, more paint than you intended, it's really just best to, you can try to scrape it off. I've done that before, but it can kind of get messy, and then you'll end up maybe taking off other things that you want to leave. So I think it's best to just kind of leave it, and then you can always go back in with whatever color is, next to it or around it, and touch some of that over on top of it. and just tone it down a little bit. Just like that. Okay, let's start with our yellow. Step one part.
So during one of the brief moments that I wasn't paying attention, did you say if they could use old credit cards and things like that instead of palette knives?
Yes.
I figure you did.
Yes. Okay, just adding a little bit of white to my cadmium to make it cover a little bit better. This is cadmium yellow medium. I didn't go over my palette, sorry. Titanium white, cadmium yellow medium, cadmium orange, quinacridone magenta, ultramarine blue, phthalo blue green shade, teal, and this is burnt sienna. So a little bit late on that, sorry. Okay, so I'm going to start right about here, and I'm going to do my big cloud bank that I'm wanting to see go along here. And I'm kind of, as you see, I'm kind of keeping the palette knife sort of horizontal to the horizon line. That's intentional because I want, even if we have some stray or lay down a little bit too much paint or something unexpected happens, at least it'll be sort of in this horizontal motion. You don't want to go in and start doing things in weird directions because these clouds are, even though they're spreading out, they're still going to have this sort of horizontal feeling. If you notice, all of these lines are kind of running in this general horizontal. Even these ones that are at a diagonal, they're multiple lines stacked to create that diagonal. So I don't know what I'm trying to say there, but hopefully that made sense. Stop talking.
At least one of us needs to know what you're talking about at all times.
Yes, that would be helpful. Okay, so I'm going to do some nice big streaks here.
So are you painting in all this and then you're going to add the submarine? Because
you want a submarine?
Because tanks obviously won't go well in this painting, so
but you could
maybe
do
a submarine.
Okay.
No.
It could happen. I don't know. We'll see. These ones are kind of going sort of in this, sort of slightly this direction. They're kind of really almost going straight up, filling this area with some random clouds. Let's do some more on this one. All the way up and off the canvas. Just very lightly. I don't have a lot of paint on my brush. I'm just or on my palette knife. I'm just kind of dabbing a little bit of paint on each time I'm grabbing paint. So there's really not a whole lot on there. So it's easier to control. Okay. Let's do some in this direction over here. Just a few bright clouds that are way up high. Isn't that amazing? I don't know. It's just so, I love how paint, it's almost like magic sometimes when you're painting. I don't care how long I've been painting. It's just so much fun when you get to this point in a painting and it starts to actually make sense and you're like, wow, this is going to actually be pretty cool. I think I like this. There's always doubt. You never know. With painting, it's not a science. It's definitely doesn't always work out, and sometimes it can be a frustrating proposition, but
Some trial and error still.
trial and error for sure. So it doesn't matter how long I've been painting. There's still a little element of fear every time I sit down to paint. So when I get to this point and it starts looking like a little bit like a sunset, I'm like, yes, it's such a good feeling. I'm like, thank you, God. I don't do a lot of palette knife painting, so this is kind of a fun experiment for me too. So we're gonna start setting in our yellow here. I added just a tiny bit of orange, but I'm really pulling in this cadmium yellow white color mostly. And I'm going to leave a little bit of dark right here, so I'm going to go just underneath that and hit right here. And there's kind of a horizontal wave that happens right here. And then it starts to fade into the green. All right, I'm going to go back in with the purple once I get my purple going, and we'll add some purple into there. But let's go ahead and start with the orange. Work some orange down into our clouds. So I'm working my way back down to my sun here. And the area around the sun is actually kind of more reddish orange. And then the clouds above it are kind of catching that yellow bits. So there's a lot of orange right up next to where that sun is. So I'm going to kind of go somewhat over the top, but I don't want to cover up all of my green and blue sky colors here. So I'm going to kind of be selective of where I put this. We'll work some of this color. Right, so just pulling slightly, but I'm not pulling a bead on it like I was doing before down here. I'm just kind of pulling it horizontal through the paint, flattening it out, and grabbing whatever is on there. I've got a little piece of fluff or something. There we go. And then just kind of scrubbing it onto the canvas. And the more texture we get, the more interesting these shapes will get. Because these paint layers, these first paint layers will start to dry, and then we'll kind of, the subsequent paint will kind of catch on those and create even more interesting shapes. So we can do all kinds of neat stuff. All right, gonna grab some of this. There's some of this yellow up here and some of the orange. Just doing kind of slight zigzaggy, circular, keeping my brush or my palette knife horizontal.
You got a question?
Go for it.
Okay, let me find it again. Okay, Bethany says that her cadmium orange is almost neon.
Oh, cool.
So is there any way to tone it back for this painting?
I think the neon, I'd go for it. I mean, I think the neon would work, but if you want to tone it down a little bit, you can add a little bit of blue. Blue's a neutralizing, or you could add a little bit of your burnt sienna to it. You know, any kind of neutral blue, just because it's opposite on the color wheel, so it would be a natural neutralizing force. Grab some of the quinacridone magenta now. We're going to make really a bright red, and you could use like a cadmium red if you wanted to. We're pretty much making one almost with this color. We'll do that, get a little bit more, and make even brighter red. So I'll make kind of an orangey red, almost like a cadmium yellow or cadmium red light here, and then more of a true red there. And we'll use these down there. Ooh, that's pretty. Start to pull some of the reds up. I really don't go very far up, so I don't want to go too far. Probably that probably is a little bit too far right there. Tone that down with a little bit of the lighter color. This let's bring a little bit of it just right over the top. We can kind of use the edge of the brush, go right over the top of our sun there. We'll add some more sun color as well. Grab a little bit more of that bright orange. And I don't think you can go too bright with this one. This one's so I actually considered using my neon colors. I have some fluorescent colors. I considered using the fluorescent pink and yellow for the sky. I think it would be really beautiful. So look at that. Okay, going a little bit below. Keeping the red to the bottom third. So don't go any higher than right about there. And you'll be good to go. Keep your reds down low, keep your yellows and brighter colors up higher. Reds and oranges down low. These clouds kind of over here are sort of softer. They sort of soften and blend out a little bit. But since we're using the palette knife, I'm going ahead and putting texture there, even though that it's really soft and blendy in our photograph. I'm just kind of going by the colors. And this is definitely more washed out than my, the original photograph is a lot more vibrant. So it's looking good. Let me grab some more yellow. I feel like the yellow needs to be a little bit brighter right in here. Grab some white. There we go. Soft kind of pink salmon color almost. Look at that. Oh, that's pretty. Barely touching it here now. Use a lot of that right up in here. This one, this cloud bank has got a lot of pink in it right here, so I'm gonna kind of fill in and create a nice big cloud right there. And this time I am gonna scrape it up on my palette knife so I get kind of some right in that middle right there. Smooth it out, just sort of smush it down right where I want that big cloud to be. And let's use a little bit of this color. On the edges of this one too, kind of above it. And a little bit down in here. And this is where it's going to start kind of catching on the other colors that are already drying. So we'll get some really interesting textures. And I want some really nice wispy things happening up here. So I'm going to pull some diagonal. There we go.
Hey, I'm catching up on questions.
Okay.
Tina wants to know, how do you get your yellow to pop so well on the painting?
I use a really thick amount of paint for that. That is, and it had a little bit of white in it so that the white makes it slightly more opaque. But the cadmium yellow medium is a pretty opaque yellow to begin with. So it'll cover pretty well over the blues that we put down. In fact, I'm going to use the white here and make a little bit more of that bright yellow. It's got a little bit of the reds in it still, and that's okay. And we'll just put another layer of that really bright yellow right in here. I want to create some of that really directional. So I have it slightly angled down And I'm pulling. Oh, there we go. Nice. Let's do some up in here. Okay. Get some of that pink. Right about an hour here, I guess. Oh, I'm forgetting our water. Don't want to forget our water, so I'm going to grab some of this red pink color here. Mixing a little bit of that yellow into our red to create that salmon color. We're going to use that right here. And pull a bead. And I'm just going to kind of very lightly just tap that tip right up along. I'm not going to go right up to the horizon line because it's really blue. You're still seeing kind of blue right there, but I want some of this color happening in the middle of our water. Very nice. A little bit of that color up there. Just barely scraping off little bits of paint there. All right, let me clean this off. Some fresh white. Put it over here.
I need a less clicky keyboard.
Yes, you do. We've said that before.
Yeah.
It's not, is it mine? No, it's not mine, it's yours.
Yeah,
it comes with
my
your
keyboard.
iPad or whatever.
Yeah, it's the one I bought years ago for it, and it's
Oh,
very clicky.
yes. It's okay. All right, so creating a very dark purple here with the quinacridone magenta and ultramarine blue. Makes a really beautiful, dark, vibrant purple. Trying not to get my orange and other colors in there to keep it as pure as possible. I'm running out of room, so. And I'm going to use this to create my dark waves right here. So I'm going to create this dark one. Sort of happens right there. And I'm intentionally finding a bright area, and I'm going to go right underneath it. So I'm going to look at this one right here, and I'm going to go right underneath and do this nice dark shadowy wave right here. And the top of it's fairly horizontal. It does have a little bit of movement, so it's not perfectly straight. Maybe not that high, but it's all right. It's going to catch on the canvas, so just be aware of that. I'm going to cover just a little bit of that up because I feel like it was a little bit too high there, but we'll use a little bit of it back in here. Find some of this lighter colored waves and just sort of put a little bit of the dark underneath some of them.
I'm zooming in so you can kind of see what you're doing there a little bit better. So you might have to
Move it.
Yeah.
Move it up. Okay.
There we go. And while I got you interrupted,
Okay.
Jillian wants to know would iridescent paints also work,
Oh, yeah, I think that'd
specifically white into a yellow to really get the yellow to stand out.
Oh, I think that'd be beautiful. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, any of those iridescent paints would definitely add some sheen and shimmer to your water. I'd like to see that. Adding some of this really dark right down here close to the horizon line. Just a little bit of it. I'm gonna add some of that Loew blue. Picked up a little bit of burnt sienna, but that's not a bad thing. And add a little bit of that in there as well in some of those dark areas. Just a little bit of a different color. These sides over here get darker in my photograph kind of as you get away from farther away from the sun. These edges are a little bit darker, so we can kind of darken up these outside corners of our painting somewhat. And keep that bright area right there. And that, we're going to tone that down right now because it's bugging me. Okay, grabbing some of that teal. I'm going to go right on top of that section that kind of got a little too high. Right there. Kind of pull that back down. And now I'm going to grab some of the yellow, add that to the teal, add some white. I'm mixing a very, get more yellow in there. There we go. Very light green color. Add a little bit of that right kind of along the edges and above some of my dark waves. Not all the way to the corner though. I want to keep it kind of right in this center section here. And there's actually a pretty bright section right up underneath this wave. So I want to put some of that in there. There we go. Okay, yeah, I like that. I'm going to dark right, pull that all the way to the edge. There we go. All right, now let's just add some white to this purple. We'll use that up in our sky. Probably too much white there. Let's just grab some more of that quinacridone. Okay, we'll start out with pink and then we'll add a little bit of the ultramarine blue to this. Okay, so we're going to use this right down low. We're almost done with this. It's pretty close to being done. And just a tiny bit of this up here, maybe not that much. Mix kind of a light pink color and kind of tap over that just slightly. There we go. Gotta get my finger in there. Can't resist. We're actually not doing too bad, honestly. It's not as bad as my hands looked when I did the example, so we're doing all right tonight comparatively. Right, gonna just drag some lines here of this light pink color right through there. And we're gonna make our purple again. Grabbing some of this ultramarine blue. Adding it get to that color there. We're going to use that right along this outside edge, right low here. So that's there, and there's actually some right along the horizon line down low. Okay. And then there's some little ones that kind of stick up in here. All right. Clean that off really well because I want to get back in with my yellow now. Finish my sun. Add one last layer of that really bright yellow and red. Put out some more quinacridone here. Let's put some of this pink down here. I didn't use any of that. We want a little bit of all these colors down in our, all these kind of warm colors down in our water. Kind of tie them together. A little bit of that dark purple. Can even do some of this dark purple kind of up in here, kind of just on the outsides of the right area. There we go. Okay, I want some almost straight quinacridone here. Let me see how bright this looks in our sky. Yeah, that's good. I'm going to just use that to kind of tie in that purple and background colors and pull it right up to the sun. See how that just kind of ties them both in. So no matter what colors you're using on the sunset, really, as long as they blend well together, you're just kind of building your blends. So, you know, with the yellow, I went to the yellow-orange, and then to the orange, then to the orangey red, then to the more, you know, red, then to the more purpley red, straight quinacridone, and then to the violet and purple. So, just kind of building layers upon layers of mixes of color. Nice dark color right along that edge. Look how pretty that is. I love this. All right, let's add a little bit of it down here, just a little bit. Maybe a little bit in our wave there. And then let me see if I can get some clean yellow. Not gonna be easy. There we go. And we're gonna just use the tip. Actually, I'm just gonna scrape up a pretty good glob of it right here and use the tip and just draw my sun in again with some horizontal lines. Kind of gets wider up toward the top, if that makes sense. It kind of, if you look at the picture, it's like almost like a triangular shape. So just try to get that feeling there, and then some really bright clouds. A little bit white. I think this is dry. Hopefully it won't pick up the green there, because I want kind of just a really white yellow. Perfect. Just almost white, but a really bright yellow. We'll just use that right kind of in the middle of these bright clouds a little bit. me just add a little pop of really bright color. Oh, I'm not, you need to zoom out, honey.
Just saw you put the light on there.
Okay, well, it's a little higher than we were. I'll put a little bit of that right there. Tiny bit of it. Grab some of that green. Do a little bit brighter along in here. Just catch a little bit of that light. Really bright green here. Alright, we're almost done. Let's use a little bit of it right in the water as well. And go into the sunlight areas. Add some green kind of around the sides. Alright, I feel like I need a little bit of that really bright light color in the water. So add a little bit of the real bright. Kind of lost some of my texture there. So put some of that other color back in. Kind of ended up with a big yellow blob right there. Just tapping it back in some of the other colors. There we go. And this actually kind of pulls all the way over here with that yellow. Sorry, I'm starting to get into this and starting to whisper. I'm going to try to speak louder.
I just turned you up some
Did
because
you?
I was like,
Yeah.
oh, she's whispering.
I know, I do that. Getting in the zone. Okay, there we go. Just kind of making a little bit wider section as we get down toward the bottom. All right, I think we're pretty much done. Let me add a little bit more of this bright, bright yellow up here, but I think we're pretty close. Oh, what did I just do? Well, I actually do some of the teal up in the sky. Add a little bit of the white. This is really that pinkish white, but it won't matter.
Yeah, everybody's falling under your spell.
Are they? They're all falling asleep?
Yeah, they all fell asleep. Chat's just dead right now. I think people are drooling on their keyboards.
I did have a lady say that she thought that we were as relaxing as Bob Ross, and people listen to Bob Ross for relaxation, you know, almost meditation, because his voice was so soothing. She was. I'm not comparing myself to Bob Ross. He's amazing, but I thought that was pretty.
You have the
funny.
same hair.
Huh?
I said you have the same hair.
Yeah.
You straighten it for the videos. But
I do, yeah. Adding some of this bright teal in just a few little areas here, just to kind of pop out a little bit of color.
Somebody asked, would you highlight that dark wave? Put any highlights on the top of it?
You could, yeah. Yeah, we could do that. It's not really in the picture. There's not really, I mean, there's just kind of a line there. There's not really a lot of definition there, like a a wave or anything, or like a crest. It's just kind of like a swell almost. So I don't think but we can do a little bit of this lighter color just to define it a little bit. And it does kind of angle down right here a little bit. So yeah, you get as creative as you want to with this wave. Honestly, I always say it's your painting. I'm not going to come and tell you did it wrong. So
put a periscope on it, and it's a sub.
There you go. I am gonna take this painting and I'm gonna do. You're gonna get it for Christmas. It's gonna have. And yeah, but I want you to take it and put it up in your office at work. And you'll have to explain to them why. Well, he wanted it. I don't know. I don't get it either, but just adding the last little bit of highlights. Very, very light teal here with white. I'm happy. What do you think? Good?
Hey, if you're happy, I'm happy.
You're happy? Good. All right, let me, what?
Oh, I clap my hands because I'm happy.
Oh. I want to make a really bright...
Now that song is in everybody's head.
What?
You're welcome.
What song?
If you're happy
If
and
you're happy,
you
know it. I get it now. I'm a little slow tonight. Sorry,
you're in your painting brain area.
I am. I'm in my painting brain. Okay, so I mixed the cad yellow with the quinacridone, the last little bit that was there. Just making that really bright red. I'm going to tap in a little bit of that around my sun. Just pull it in over the top. Just a little bit, and we'll call that done. Say that. We'll add a little bit down here, and then we'll be done. Okay, done. Not fun? Not too hard.
Did you say cute?
I didn't say cute.
No, it's not cute?
It's kind of cute. I would say more like pretty.
More pretty? Okay,
Yeah,
I'll zoom in a little bit.
There
so
we
you don't
go.
hold it up too much.
All right. Hope you guys try this. Hope you're inspired to do it yourself. And if you do, you can share it with me. I've got all the links to my social media down in the description. Hope you have a great rest of the week. We are going to be going on vacation this weekend. So this Saturday and next Tuesday, we'll have recordings for you. Hopefully, if we can get them done before we...
Hopefully. We've been trying to do it.
Yeah, I know,
but
it just hasn't happened
we're
yet.
just
so
tired.
We're getting closer and closer to Friday, too, aren't we?
So maybe not.
Maybe not. Hopefully we will. If you don't see them, that's why. Actually, okay, I said I was done. I'm gonna tone down that little second.
And zero people
Thought I was done.
Even the first time viewer said, no, she's not done. we've heard the stories.
Okay, there we go. Now I'm really done. I need to sign it, but I'm going to let it dry completely before I do that. So, all right, guys, have a great week. We'll see you in about a week and a half next Saturday. I don't know what date that is, but
12th.
Yes, August 12th.
We'll be live again.
We will be live.
Sure.
Yep. All right. Thanks, guys. See you next time. Bye.